Hello, people. Just here to show you a pretty interesting duel. I got Avalon, the trap card that destroys all the cards in the field from the Noble Knights. It's I got that card to proc. It was a pretty interesting duel, and I mean, of course, it was not cool for me, and not too cool for me, but it was kind of interesting because, of course, things were going in a way that I was not very comfortable to go, but the setting for Avalon, of course, if you know the Noble Knights, that you need five monsters in the graveyard to proc, and including in those five monsters, you need to have Artorigus and Lancelane. So as you can see, we're already opening with the Artorigus in hand. We have a Nobleman of Crossout. We proc the Noble Arms Gallatin, and we put the Noble Arm of Crossout on the field. And the individual that turns Brock, he uses Tribute to the Doomed. He destroys my monster with my Equip spell. He puts a full back row, and then I go in with Lance Lane, and I put on the field. And because I don't want to, of course, go to proc Widespread Ruin, I don't attack. This time around, of course, I use my Nobleman of Crossout just to destroy his monster. I think it was an Armage Jasmine. And yep, I didn't attack two. He didn't attack two. Now I got Avalon on hand. He used widespread run this time around, so I was like, oh whatever. I have in hand the last chapter of the Noble Knights, so I can re-summon my Noble Knights from the graveyard. So yeah, I get now on the show Medrawt. I use the effect of Lancelane to get him in the field. Now I have around three monsters from the graveyard. I only need to get in the graveyard Desmond Drought and Lancelane for that effect to proc because I already have the other monster, which was Artorigus. So I'm in a bit of a bad situation right now if this person is playing to high attack monsters, but from the looks of things, he's not. He's just playing an stall deck full of traps, so I just go ahead, do a little sacrifice. I activate the effect of Lancelane, and I get on my hand the Noble Arms of Destiny. Then I put on the field Gawain, and I equip him with the Noble Arms of Destiny. Now he uses one of his traps, Raining Shield, yeah, whatever. And again, my turn. Now his turn. Now he puts a monster in defense. This time around, I did proc again the effect of Lancelane to get that Drought on the graveyard. I attack with Lancelane, and now I do, of course, commit to attack without, of course, really thinking about if he had any wall of disruption there. So now he puts in the field the Aramage Bergamot, and he procs Aroma Garden twice, so he super boosts her. Then she goes for my Lance Lane, which is perfect because now next turn I can proc Avalon, and as you can see, there it is. That beautiful card that I rarely, in fact, this is the very first time that I do activate it, and I have played like 200 duels with this deck. And as you can see, damn, like everything right there got destroyed, but Gawain got to survive thanks to Noble Arms of Destiny. So we got to attack with Medrawt and Gawain. And now he doesn't have a full back row of traps, and he had no cards in his hand. So now he's forced to use what he has, and he uses that. So now that I got in my hand uh, Drysten, I just use my ability to draw a spell and or trap, and I get lucky and I get Caliburn and I proc Drysten. Of course, I destroy his Armage, and that's the duel. So pretty epic, as you can see. It's pretty rare to get to proc that ability while playing with somebody online. So pretty good. I mean, I just wanted to share with you the excitement that I got out of that. I don't know if you saw already somebody play that. I don't know if you yourself have already played Avalon, but yeah, I do include in my deck of Noble Knights one Avalon. My deck is filled with pretty much all Noble Knights. I was running before the Swamp Mirror, and I also was running two Majugar sets, Great Majugar set. But now because I love Noble Knights, not only the deck, but I do love the story, the Arthurian story, the legend. That's a more accurate term, and that's the reason why I run pretty much all of them, but Boars Gawal Shabat, and I think also I'm missing other one. But if I'm not mistaken, I think those are the only two that I don't have. Because on one hand, Boars has an interesting effect, but because you already have Glory of the Noble Knights, you don't really need that effect. You need to have your equip spells in your deck so that you can use Glory of the Noble Knights to get your equip spells from there. You don't need to, of course, use three boards and waste those three slots in your deck. Of course, because you're going to take more time to draw the really, really powerful cards in this deck, which are, of course, Noble Knight Medrawd and Noble Knight Dryston. So I have a Noble Knight Lancelane too. I have Noble Knight Gawain. I have Noble Knight Peredur. I have Noble Knight Bethwer, and I have Noble Knight Artorigus. The only normal card in the whole deck, of course, when it comes to the monsters. I have two Noblemen of Crossout, and I have three Glory of the Noble Knights. I have, of course, one Adre the Tier. I have one Caliburn. I have one Gallatin, and I have one Noble Arms of Destiny. I have three chapter of the Noble Knights, last chapter, sorry, of the Noble Knights, because that card is very powerful in this in my case. I've been using it. Has been doing lots of great stuff. Has been really potent with Dryston and Medrawd. Like I've been able to get Medrawd from the graveyard back on the show, and of course, if I didn't pull any single Dryston, get him back on the field, destroy some cards, or of course, if I have a very powerful card on the field that is not letting me, continue, or possibly, of course, destroy other cards so that I can continue with the next monster, such as traps that don't let you attack, or equip spells, or something of the sort, such as a Mask of Ruin, or something of the sort. It's very good to have that card, so I don't have also any wild tornadoes like I've seen other people use, and I wanted to be original about my Noble Knights deck, so I wanted to go with this setting, and of course at the end, that very interesting card, which I seen nobody run when it comes to this archetype. I've seen nobody run, at least here. Well, I've seen people on videos playing the Noble Knights. I don't see people use Avalon in their deck, so I just wanted to use Avalon, you know, just for see if in one situation I would really need it. Imagine if somebody would get on the field like three fusion monsters with 4500 attack, and I will be ruined. And I would happen to have already in my graveyard five monsters. Because I have 11 in my deck, I mean, it's not that bad. I can still have other five that I can use just in case. But yeah, I mean, basically, Avalon, it's a very prideful card to get to run because it's not an easy card to run. You lose a lot of resources to use it. But if you get to use it, I mean, it feels so good. You target five Noble Knights monsters in your graveyard and you banish them, basically. If you have Return from the other dimension, or if you have that card, the DDR, I think, that magic card, you do some combos with that. But at the same time, I just used it because the idea of having that power to destroy, I mean, nobody would expect that because nobody runs Avalon out there. At least that what I've seen, I see no people running Avalon in their Noble Knight deck. So I really wanted to give a chance this card, and as you saw in the last tool that I showed you, it paid off. So pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that tool, and that I got to share that tool with you. So once again, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. See you in the next one, and bye bye.